Hello everyone. Here I'm dropping things. It is Alana. I am here with the last of the celebration daily lives, though I may actually come back tomorrow if you guys have interest in seeing another version of this card with the Calming Camellia stamp set. So you guys will have to vote and let me know if you would like to see this card or this layout done with Calming Camellia. And then I could come back tomorrow, and for those of you who have it, you can still see a sample done with this one. I was hoping I'd have an extra one done to show you guys today, but I didn't quite get that far. So I'm just going to check here to make sure that we are up on my page. I can see that on my phone, I can see it's there, but it always takes a minute longer to show up on my end. Hi, Michelle and Ramona. I think there's some others there too, but I just can't see who yet. So, all right. How many of you guys have? Yes, okay, I will. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll show you guys the beginnings of it. I had some things prepped and then just didn't get time to finish another sample. So let me know, do you guys have the Island Vibes stamp set? And also comment to tell me if you have Calming Camellia stamp set. So I'll show you guys those. I had Calming Camellia right here. Did you guys grab it? I have some helpers helping me, and I think that they took my stamp set away. I've got one here. I had it right on my pile here to show them with my, here we go. I think that was actually me, not the helpers. Okay, so here is the Island Vibes stamp set that I did that one with. And then here's Calming Camellia. This one is a host stamp set. So in Canada, if you have a $375 order, or if you're hosting a party, I apologize. One of our kids is coming home from school and there goes Ruby. We thought we would avoid that today, but no such luck. So I'm going with this color scheme with Calming Camellia. So I'll come back tomorrow with an easel card and these products here. And then that way, when you guys get your stamp set from your order, then you can come back to this video and hopefully be inspired to create something. All right, so we'll get started with this version here. And I will show you guys a combination of some techniques that I showed you earlier in our celebration lives, combined with some new ones. All right, so I'll get into this, and then afterwards I'll recap those, the waves of the ocean and the on the horizon. I think that froze for a second there, but hopefully it's looking okay for you guys. Alrighty, so I'll bring this a little closer. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but this is actually glossy. So hopefully with the light of the window, you can see that. It's not looking like it, but it's actually glossy and raised. I have heat embossed this pineapple from the Island Vibes. And then I've also turned it into an easel card here. I'm just gonna hold this down for a second and see if you guys can catch that view. And this is also raised. So that is also heat embossed. Hopefully you guys can catch that. I'll hold it here just for a second until it updates on my end. Live video interrupted. Let's make sure that it is. Actually, if somebody doesn't mind just commenting to let me know if it's still playing for you guys. My view interrupted, but I think the recording is still there. So just let me know how it's turning up on your guys' end, and I'll hopefully catch your comment there. All right, so we'll get started with this. So I'll put that down. It's all good. Perfect. Okay. So I have started with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11. It is scored at 5 1/2, and then I need to add one more score to make this an easel card. So I'll show you guys what they are. So this one here is scored at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. So that is what we need for this to be an easel card. And then I don't need this just yet. We have some steps to do, so I'll set that aside, but I'll show you guys the rest of the layers. So I'm also using Daffodil Afternoon DSP again. So I've got this piece here that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I actually cut an extra piece because I was thinking it might go with this, with the, you guys can give me your vote. I don't know if I like it. I might have to put a different color here for the Calm and Camellia version. You guys can give me your vote. I'm not sure I love that in there. It might need to be something else. So place your votes and let me know what you guys think. So there is this piece of DSP. Then I've pulled in a layer of vellum just to tone that down a little bit. So that one is 3.5 by 4 3/4. This layer is to go on the inside so that I have a prop for my easel. And then instead of doing a greeting prop on the inside, I actually just cut a little ledge out of the coordinating DSP and the border there. That's something I haven't done before. So these will be for the inside there. So I'll just set them aside as well. I've got some paper to stamp on. I have my greeting layer. And then these will also go layered on the vellum. So we've got all these pieces and then a greeting layer. All right, so put them aside and I will start with the stamping, and I'll just lay this down and hopefully you guys can see that while we go. So I have the pineapple image from Island Vibes. And then for those of you who were here the other day when I showed you how to use the Whisper White craft ink as a blending medium or a mixing medium, I'm going to do that again today. So this time I'm using Crushed Curry and Mossy Meadow. These two colors are in the Daffodil Afternoon DSP, though I'm not showing any of that, the colored sides of the Daffodil Afternoon. I still pulled the colors from there. So I'm going to mix this up. I do have some here, but I may as well mix them. I'll mix the green. I probably have enough of the Crushed Curry that I don't need to mix that. But for anyone that didn't watch my live the other day, I want you guys to know how I was able to get the images embossed. So if you want to have custom colors to emboss with, you can take your white craft ink refill and then you can take your colored ink refill. So I am going to put some Mossy Meadow into the white craft ink. I'm going to try to do just a little partial drop because I had a little bit more than a drop of white, but you want to do a 1-to-1 ratio. That's what I start with anyway. And then if you want a bolder color, then you can just put more of your colored refill and then use your palette knife and just mix this in. I was telling you guys the other day that I saw Barry and Jay, their Matosu Crafts, I think I'm saying that right. They did some backgrounds with this method and I had used that idea, but then I had all of this ink left over and I didn't want it to go to waste. So that was how I decided to color in the bird card from Friendly Hello that I showed you guys the other day. And then after that, I still had some left over, so I decided I should try stamping with it. I'm actually going to add in a little bit more Mossy Meadow. I want this to be a little bit darker. So you can just go ahead and add more. If it doesn't look as bold as you want, you just kind of have to scrape it back together to mix that in. All right, that's a little bit bolder now. I think I will be happier with that. Now, with what's left here, because I'm going to use my daubers to stamp, I can just wipe the excess off on here and then it doesn't go to waste. The other day, my intention was to pick the color up off of there and color with it, though I forgot and I just picked it right up off the palette, but that's fine. Just to give you guys more ideas on how to use this. Okay, so I'm actually going to ink up the bottom part of the pineapple first. So again, this is Crushed Curry. I mixed Whisper White with Crushed Curry. I did a different version of this stamping on one of our Global Project tutorials, and I think I used Bumblebee on that one. So if you don't have Crushed Curry ink refill and you have Bumblebee, if you are a Die Hard in color collection collector and you've got the Bumblebee, that one will work as well. I just can't show that one because we can't post those cards on social media, so otherwise I'd show you it, but I think it turned out well with that color as well. Now I'll just pick this up. Oopsie. I went over the line, and I know I'm not going to be happy with that, so I have to just wipe that off. It's a little bit easier than to correct this mistake than yesterday's. Yesterday was where I had that big blob, ran with it anyway, but I can wipe that off, so I may as well before it's too late. So I'm trying to just dab with the dabber up to the line where it transitions from the stem to the pineapple. Okay, so this should be nice and inky, so I can stamp on here. I have my clear embossing powder ready to go. It dries a little bit faster than our old craft ink, so I want to be able to coat it with powder right away. So I'm just stamping this on basic white. There we go. And then I'll just coat that with clear powder. I apologize, you guys are going to have to listen to my heat gun for just a second. So now that's all coated in powder, and I can heat that up. So if you have never heat embossed before, I think most of you have, but you'll see this switch from powdery. I'll try to hold it closer so you guys can see. And the connection seems to keep dropping on my viewing end, so just let me know. Try to comment if you guys are still able to see everything. So you can see now how that is switching from powdery to glossy. And that's how you know that it's all set. And you want this to be completely set. Otherwise that powder is going to fall off and not set on there. So I want to show you guys one more little extra step that we're going to do to this. And if you don't have this stamp set, you could do this with so many others. All right, so I've got this one. Hi, Lena. And hi, everyone else that has joined in since we got started. So we have this. I'm going to do one more step to this, but I want to set that aside for just a second. While I have all of this out, I may as well stamp this part here. Thanks for coming while you could, Ramona. The replay will be posted once we're all done, so that you can always catch that. And I appreciate everybody that comes back to watch even the replay, as well as being here live. So thank you. All right, so I'm going to do this little part here. So I'll just prop that up so you guys can see that. And again, I'll just use this ink here and cover this leafy image from Island Vibes. If it drives you nuts that they're upside down, then you might want to choose a different image, or just not stamp this part if you have this stamp set. But I think leaves flow in all different directions when the wind catches them, so it works. They're just flowing down from the ledge. Okay, so now, connection's acting so funny today on my end. Okay, and we're not going to actually see quite the whole image in the end, but I wanted to stamp the whole thing anyway. So now I can just coat this one again with the clear powder. Whoops, just about made a mess there. And it doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight there, because I'm going to cover part of that with this there. So it's all good. Now I just want to get that powder out of the way so I don't spill it all over the place. Sorry, you had me right in the view there for a second. Okay. There's a little bit of powder there I missed. If you have excess powder, you want to knock that off before you heat set it. Otherwise, it is not coming off afterwards. Once you've set it, it's there to stay. And here again, you can see that that is turning nice and glossy. And you just want to make sure that the whole thing is glossy before you're all done. There we go. So that is all the heat embossing. Sorry, there goes Ruby. All right. So that one's all set to go. I'll set this aside, and I'm going to show you guys what I did next to here. We don't need this one anymore, so I'll get that out of the way. And I'll just show you guys, I just have one of these containers that hold daubers. So these ones have all had craft ink in them. I have a separate one that does not have craft ink. They're just my regular daubers with standard ink. And then these ones have all been a mix of craft ink and re-inker. So then these guys can just go back in there and then they don't make a mess. That little container is a godsend. Okay, so then you could just cut this out and use it like it is. Or if you want to add a little bit of extra detail, I actually blend it over top. So because this is heat embossed, you can get a little bit of an emboss resist effect on that. So I just brought in the same colors, and then that's how this looks a little bit not so stark white in between there. I've just blended some color on the top and the bottom. So I will show you guys how to do that as well. So you're just going to take your, I'm using coordinating colors, but you could always use different colors as well, depending on the image that you're heat embossing. So I just tap off the excess again, and then just blend over the coordinating part of the image. So here I'm just going over the bottom of the pineapple, and then I'll go over the top, the leafy part, with Mossy Meadow again. You could choose an alternating green if you didn't want it to be quite the same, but or if you wanted to add a little bit more variation in color. Oh, look at that. I did what I did yesterday. You guys would think I'd learned my lesson. You'd also think our cat would learn her lesson to stay indoors after she has frostbitten her paws and is suffering the effects of that, but not so much. Last night she was back at that front door trying to sneak out. So for anyone who hasn't watched my lives already, this mat is laminated. It's got a glossy finish, so that way I'm able to just wipe that ink off of there, and that's why I was able to dab the ink off there and then pick it up and keep using it. All right, so now with this guy here, I apologize, I did not do one in advance, so I actually need to fussy cut this now. So while I fussy cut, you guys can take a minute, if you're up for it, to comment and let me know if you think that I should use this piece of Daffodil Afternoon paper with this version. So you can kind of see there how I would use Calming Camellia in place of this. So let me know, do you think that I should stick with this Daffodil Afternoon DSP or switch it out to something else? And then that way, that'll give you guys something to do while I fussy cut. I know, the poor cat. I wish she'd learn her lesson, but I knew she wouldn't. I knew that that was not likely to happen, that she would stay away from the door. I won't tell you what her paws look like now. I'll spare you guys that. It's very sad, though it could always be worse, right? There was a worse alternative, and I'm very glad that didn't happen, and I know there's worse things going on around the world, so just keep cutting. This image is a good example of how it is easier to turn your paper into your scissors than to turn your scissors around your paper. And I wasn't worried about that blob from my blender brush because I knew I was cutting that off, so that's no big deal. There is enough of this stamped image that would disguise it if I made that mistake. So lucky for me, I don't have to keep blending Night of Navy ink around it like I did yesterday to hide the big blob. Are you guys team fussy cut, or you're not up for that? It needs to have a matching die. It would have been nice if this one did, but actually, if you guys don't have Island Vibes, there is, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but in the annual catalog, there is a stamp and matching die set that does have a really awesome pineapple. Hi Bridget, I can see Jen was here. I don't know if she's still here, but I know that she's got that, gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Tropical something, maybe? I really should know these things. I have it. I could actually grab it off my shelf real quick here and show you guys. Fussy cutting is good therapy. Or not keen on fussy cutting. Sometimes I love cutting DSP images out. For one of my swag bags a few years ago, there was that paper that had the cute little deer and Santas, and I loved fussy cutting those out. It's like satisfying when you end up with a piece fully cut out in this stack of all these images. Okay, so that is how that turned out. So you can see the little bit of emboss resist there. I'll set that one aside. I have also done a little bit of blending behind the pineapple on the white circle and this greeting. The reason I did that is because this DSP is actually vanilla. It's not white, but Timeless Tropical. Is that it? Yeah, thank you. Did Brenda find that in a hurry? Okay. There is a tiny little pineapple there, but there is a coordinating dye that goes with it. So it actually doesn't cut that one out. It's just a separate one. But the dye itself is really pretty, but you could use this technique with the flowers or with the palm trees. It would look really cool with the palm trees, I think, actually. So now I was just saying that the circle and the label, because I'll show you guys here. It's not that obvious actually, but it is technically vanilla that's in here. And so because that was really bold white, I blended over these a little bit just to tie it in a little bit better, though the inside of my card is white anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But that was my strategy when I was working on the front of the card. So I'll show you guys what I did there too. So just your basic blending. So I'll just bring my Mossy Meadow out again, and I don't want a lot. I just want a really light amount. So I'm just blending a little bit over the center of the circle, and then I'll put a little bit. I may not even pick up more ink from here. If I have enough to just put a little bit, oh, I think I'm going to need to, but I don't want to have to re-ink my brush to do this label because I just want a really slight hint. There we go. So that's enough. You guys might not even be able to see it from there, but I'll bring that, put it next to the back of the white. So you can see that there's just a little bit there. You can see the contrast there. Okay, now I will do the same thing that I did the other day. And I will take my Stampin' Blends and just put a little bit of a spatter over each of these. So this is Light Mossy Meadow is the one that I went with. And you just want to be careful that you don't flick too hard against the cap. Like you don't want to destroy the nib. You need to go just hard enough to get some spatter there. I'm not sure if you can see that from the distance that the camera is at, but I'll bring it closer so that you guys can see it. So I'm just stamping. Look at that one. I spattered too much, but it's gonna do. It'll be fine. So I have just dressed those up a little bit with a little bit of blending and a little bit of spatter. This one is good to go because that's going to just get mounted on there. But this one here, I still need to stamp the greeting. So I used Hello Sunshine. That one again is from Special Moments. This is the level 2 celebration. So with a 120 purchase, you can get this one for free. And again, you guys have seen over the last 5 days that it's super versatile. I've been using the greetings from there a lot. All right. So now I've got Memento. I don't like to use StazOn on polymer. If anyone has a trick for getting StazOn off of polymer, I am game to hear it. There we go. So now we should have all of our elements ready for assembly. All right. So now I'll begin assembling all of my layers here. I have one more other element to bring in, but I will show you guys that as we go. All right. I'm going to first hide my little circle under there, take my white circle, and attach that to my scallop circle. I hope that these never retire. Special moments. Yeah, Linda, it's amazing. That one's not leaving my collection. There are so many good greetings in that one. Do you guys find that you need like a really good greeting set in your collection? That's like a staple. It's a staple item that I think we should all have. So I have this here. Now I'm going to dimensional the little pineapple off to the side. It's not perfectly centered because I want to have room to put my greeting there. So I've got the little mini dimensionals. Whoops. I love the mini dimensionals and also the black ones. I actually have the black ones, I think, handy to use as well. All right, so this is going to go just right over here. And then I'm going to save this. I want to build the rest of the card before I put that on so that I can make sure that it is straight on here. Okay. All right. So first I want to take this layer here and I need a layer of the border. And I'll have to visit the comments to see what your guys' vote is for the DSP with that Blackberry Bliss card for Common Camellia. I apologize, you guys have to hear Ruby barking. We usually try to do this when I can close the door, but as you know, there's no doors on while we're painting them. So I have just taped this. This border is from, I can't remember the name of it. I'm really terrible with names. The one that goes with the Artfully Layered. Now, when I've made a design and I like how the layers ended up, I usually just lay it next to me so that I can use that as my guide to put the next card together. So I am going to glue this down, and 1 second. Ethan just has a question for me, so I'll keep going while he types it out. Okay, so I've got this, and then I'm going to end up taping that down. And that'll be why Ruby's barking. As long as you put everything in there.
Okay, I think you should be.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. So now I can just line this up over here and it will be roughly the same height as my other one. So we've got this. Now, because I've got vellum here, I don't want to see adhesive up here. So now I can flip this over, put tape on the back, and then I can secure it down to my DSP layer. And you won't see the adhesive. So this is a little bit long, so I didn't put that end down because now I can still rip that off, and then I can use this a little bit on the side there. Hi, Tammy. There's a couple of Tammys here. All right, so we have this, and then now I can just peel those backings off, and I'll center this one on my DSP layer. I like the look of not having all the layers with the same amount of reveal. So from this one here, so there's just a 1/4 of an inch all the way around this one, but then the reveal here is wider. So I like to differentiate your mat sizes. Okay, now this guy here is going to go onto here. So remember, this one here is where I've scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. I'm not folding this one just yet because it's a little bit easier to lay these next layers down before I create the fold, because you can see here it's popping up now. So I like to put this down while it's still flat, and then I can go in and crease that fold. So it's this section here between the end and the 2 3/4 where I'm going to attach this panel. You don't want to attach it on this top half, otherwise you can't fold it like this to get your easel. So what I'm going to do here, I showed you guys this trick the other day with dimensionals, where you put the piece kind of in place, you dry fit it, then you flip it over. I can see my score line here. I don't want to put any adhesive on this layer beyond where that score line is. Otherwise, I will tape my card shut, and I don't want that. So here what I'm going to do is I've just ripped some tear and tape. Again, that's where my score line is. So I'm going to put this piece of tear and tape below that score line. And now I know I'm good. My piece is not going to end up taping that shut. So dry fitting first is always a good idea, or almost always anyway. Sometimes it doesn't really make a difference, but in this case it does. And I'm just putting another extra little piece there. Okay, so now I can see there that my tape is not going to go past that score line. I'm not going to peel all my adhesive off to begin. I'm just taking that top piece off. And then what this will allow me to do is flip this over, get this all in place, make sure that it is all straight. I find that when you peel all 4 sides of your tape at once, that inevitably this will grab before you've got it all straightened up, and then it's stuck down and you've got to try to peel it off. So I like to just peel one first, line it up, and then now I can just reach in here and peel this off. And everything, because that first piece of tape was all the way across the card, it's going to hold this all in place and straight so that I could reach in and peel those backings off. And now I know it's all straight, it's on there, and my top half is not attached. So I'm not going to fold it just yet because I still have layers to put on, but afterwards I'll be able to create that crease there. Hi Jerry and Lori. Jerry, it's been a while. It's been a while since we chatted. I'm glad you could join in today. All right, so now I can go ahead and attach this here. I could still move that pineapple if I want to. I might, we'll see. No, I think I'll leave it. So this is going to go here, and then my greeting will go there. Hi, Lori. So now I'll take this. This is where I used my black dimensionals. I try to use it if I can, if I'm layering a black to a black. Then that way you just don't see them in between. You don't see black or white dimensionals peeking out from in there. So now we can just put this one on here. And this is the reason I save my greeting to add now, is I can make sure that this bottom lines up to here, not straight on top of it, but then it's not like twisted somewhat. So that's why I saved this one for now. Do you guys use a variety of sizes of dimensionals and a mix of black and white? I try to always have them all handy. Now I'm going to put one dimensional right at the end where it's going to overlap the pineapple. And then I need a double decker where it overlaps. So I've stacked 2 here, because otherwise it'll cave down underneath here if I just put one. It won't be the same height. So there we go. So we've got that so far. And then I need to embellish it. So what this is here, we have the, I can't remember what it's called, the Essentials Twine Combo Pack maybe. It's got black, it has gray, it has white, vanilla, and crumb cake. But this isn't a full piece. I've actually just pulled 2 strands out. So if you're running short on your twine and you need to stretch it further, you can just pull the twine apart and you can use a finer piece. Sometimes I don't want the bulk of the full piece, so I just pull a couple strands out, and then I can get a finer little bow. So I'm not going to separate these 2 pieces. That is 2 strands, but I'll just leave them looped around each other. and then I can tie a bow. This is sort of like what I did yesterday with the silver from the Simply Elegant trim, but it's just your regular twine. So I'll trim that down after. I was going to trim it down right now, but I will attach it first and then trim. So I'm just using a little glue dot to stick behind the knot of my bow, and then I will stick that just right here. And you can see those tails are super long, so I'll just trim those down some. Don't need them quite that long. I'll probably even trim just a little bit more off. There we go. So now we have this. What do you guys think so far? Do you have a stamp set in mind that you would try this technique with? If you don't have this one, what other stamp set do you guys have at home that would work? Let me know what you guys might create with. I feel like I need to do a mystery card with you guys soon. Now I've got some rhinestones, so I'll embellish the front and then we'll work on the inside. There's not much left. We are almost done. I have a take your pick tool. I just didn't think to grab it, so it's not handy. So these are just the basic rhinestones. I thought that they were a good embellishment for this one. Whoopsie. Stuck my head right in your guys' view. All right, so that's the front. That's the front of our easel, and then now I'll build the inside, and there's not much to the inside. I'll get this one ready first. Same thing as on the front. I am going to attach this little border to the bottom of the DSP, and I just used the same, I just tied in the same DSP as what's on the front to coordinate that. This one's a little wider though because it needs to fit across the piece of white so that I could use it as my prop for the easel. So I am just centering this so that I have symmetrical ends. I probably could have gone closer to the end, but that's okay. And then I can just trim those ends off. Okay, and again, I was telling you guys at the beginning, I did not glue this straight down. I ended up dimensionaling it so that it could act like a prop for my card, just like this. So I'll attach this. I used just my standard dimensionals for this one because the strip is wide enough. So I'll put this across here. And the reason for dimensionals is because when it's the prop, you want this layer here to be raised so that it will help this catch. If it was just flat, then this would be more likely to just pop down and not stay propped up. And then now I'll just put this straight across here. There we go. Okay, so this will be my inside layer. I don't always decorate the inside of my cards, but it's always nice when I remember to do it. I don't know why I don't do it more often. How about you guys? Do you embellish the inside of your card? So now here, I just need to center this on this inside panel. Got dimensional backings everywhere. You know I love dimensionals when the backings are stuck to everything. Do you guys ever leave the house with dimensional backing stuck to you somewhere? It has definitely happened here. Or when your pet heads out somewhere, you take them for a walk and they've got dimensional backings. We actually, the cat one day, she snuck outside and she had dimensionals stuck all over her paw. She had obviously gotten into something and the whole paw was covered. So here we go, that's the inside. And now that I've got everything on the front here, then I can go ahead and crease my fold that makes the prop. So now I can just take this way and crease that. And then I haven't had to fight with the front popping up while I was trying to get all of this stuff on there straight. So there you go. That's how I did the easel. we've got these two here, and then you can just prop them down so they still fit nicely in an envelope, and then just prop it up like this. So you have writing space. You can write up here. Some people like to put an extra layer up here so that you can write up there and it doesn't, you can't see it when you've got this propped up like that, just depending on how private your message is, I guess. But there we go. So that is Island Vibes. I will come back to my classes that are upcoming in just a second, but I'll make sure I come back and show you guys the common Camellia version of an easel card with this layout and these colors. I don't know if anyone voted on the DSP. Did anybody vote on that? I didn't see any comments. Timeless Tropical. So is there any votes? Do you guys have any suggestions? Should this be the DSP that I put in here with common Camellia, or should I switch it? I have something in mind if I switch it, so I may just do that. But that is the starting of what the common Camellia version will be. So here again is this one, the easel card. And if anyone is interested in the Waves of the Ocean retreat, it is coming up on April 2nd. We are planning to order, I will be staying up tonight so that I can get my order in as soon as this product goes live. So I showed you guys a card yesterday. If I can find it in a hurry, it's right here. I will show you. We're not necessarily making this card. This one was designed by Linda Collin. I got chatting with her last night and today actually. She's created a whole slew of cards with this suite. They're so pretty. But I wanted to make something real quick that I could show you guys how pretty Waves of the Ocean is, and her card jumped out at me. So I cased it, and it was this card here. So I showed you guys this yesterday. And when we do this retreat, it will be April 2nd. We're going to order supplies tonight, so you can still register if you want to join us. The full shebang is $125. You get the bundle. You get a 6x6 piece of each of the colors of foil. You get a half package of the DSP and a half package of rhinestones. You will get 2 card classes, one designed by Laura, one designed by me, and we will join together on Saturday, April 2nd. We have a private Facebook page where you will join there. All of the recordings for the classes will stay there, so you can always come back and rewatch them, especially if you have to miss part of the day or anything like that. You can still come back and visit them. We will have challenges and things like that. And then if you want to do just the Access Pass, if you're not in Canada, you can do the Access Pass for $25 Canadian, or if you already have the product yourself, then you can also join us that way. So you'll get the tutorials and access to the page and all of those fun things. So just make sure that you let me know today or click the link. I think I added it to yesterday's video, so I'll add it to today's video as well. That way you can click the link and make sure that you're registered so I can order you the product tonight so that we don't miss out. The DSP, the foil, and the rhinestones are all while supplies last. So that's why we're in a rush to make sure that we get all that product ordered and then prepped and sent out to you. And then we have the Beyond the Horizon, the Paper Pumpkin class. If you want to get our early bird pricing for this, the prices of Paper Pumpkin go up tomorrow. So today you can still get in to do the Beyond the Horizon Paper Pumpkin class by letting me know today that you want to do one, and then that way we can prepay for your Paper Pumpkin, and it would be $40 if you want to get the full kit and do the alternate projects class with us, or it is $15 if you just want the alternate supplies, and $10 if you want to just do the tutorials if you already get your own kit and want to prep your own supplies. So that is that, and there will be more classes coming down the pipeline, but I have not had a chance to get them advertised yet. So if you're curious what's coming and you want to place a Celebration order, just message me and we can chat to try and sort that out. I do have Stamp Club tonight at 6:30 my time, so in just over an hour. And then once that's done, I will be back to hurrying up to get everything closed up for Celebration before the day ends and having all of our Waves Retreat stuff in place. So that is all for now. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. I have loved spending these days with you guys, creating and stamping. I know it's not the same as being together, but it just feels like we're together a little bit again, even though we're not on a Zoom session, which is where I do my classes. But just this live and chatting back and forth with you guys has been lots of fun. I will have to make it a plan to come back more often. If you guys would like that, let me know. And if you would like that, feel free to share this video, comment to let me know that you did, and I'll have to do a draw to give away a card for that. So hi Mireille, we're just finishing up, but I will see you at Stamp Club in an hour. So thanks again, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.